It's Debatable with Mark Gray here on MLBBro.com.
All right, let's go right to the heart of the matter. Baseball just came back off a wonderful celebration of its history at the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies, where the Negro League legend Buck O'Neil finally got his flowers. 16 years after he was denied for the final time and after he had passed away. Did the Hall of Fame do right by the Negro League ambassador?
I mean, I think they did. Listen, it's tricky, man, when you talking about guys of Mr. O'Neil's age, and I call him Mr. O'Neil because that's the level of respect that everybody should have for that gentleman and that family. Hey, listen, do I think it was an effort by the Hall? I don't think they did it purposely. I don't think they meant to shun him while he was alive. I think it was just the criteria of the time. And listen, I'm not a Hall of Fame defender or the voting process defender at all. I have my own issues with the Hall of Fame we could do a whole show on that. But I mean, as far as Buck O'Neil, man, I'm just happy he's in. Listen, would I have loved it for it to happen when he was alive so he can get up on that stage and receive his honor? Absolutely. But I'm just glad he's in, man. That's the big, and I'm glad that his family, most importantly, got to have that moment and to celebrate that moment. That's what I'm glad about.
Well, let me just peel the layers of this back, because you're right. It's a wonderful situation for the family, and I'm quite sure he had the type of demeanor that he just appreciates getting there. But what I don't appreciate is these sanctimonious caretakers of the Hall grossly missing out on giving somebody their opportunity to smell the flowers. Let's be clear about something. Buck O'Neil and Tim Kirkchin, as an example, are caretakers of the game. Kirkchin gets to live his moment while he can still breathe, and it's on the family to celebrate for Buck O'Neil. And I'm sure he probably was on the right side of the O'Neil argument, but you got guys that want to quantify using analytics, many of whom don't appreciate his impact as a Negro League historian. And just look at what the man did as an ambassador to the game, not only as a scout, not only as a player, but remember who was the star of Ken Burns' documentary Baseball? It was Buck O'Neil. So to me, I'm not going to absolve the Baseball Hall of Fame voters for not getting him in on time. All right, let's go to some contemporary issues. Coming up on August 2nd, the Major League Baseball trading deadline, number of MLB bros figure to be in the crosshairs. So who do you think is the most likely MLB bro to be traded, or the player that's the most viable option to impact a contending team?
Well, the guy that I would pick is a guy that I don't see being mentioned as much, and part of it because he just signed to this team and he hasn't had the greatest of year. But I think it's Marcus Stroman. In a market where when you have a dearth of starting pitching outside of Luis Castillo and Frankie Montas, and we know the type of prospect haul that's going to cost you to get those dynamic young arms, I would think a guy like Stroman has a lot of appeal because, he's not that old. He's a big game pitcher. He's a guy that's he's been durable for the most part for his entire career. I know he spent some time on the DL this year, but for the most part, he's been durable his entire career. And he's a guy that's controllable. So he's under contract for another 2 years outside of this year. Big money, but he's controllable. So if the Cubs were to maybe take on most of that contract, or at least split the contract half with another team that needs starting pitching out there, I think Stroman could be a very appealing piece to a contending team, a team that needs starting pitching.
I'm going to say Josh Bell of the Washington Nationals. Having a career year offensively, still presents challenges at first base. Defense never really been his strong suit, but he can hit. He's having a career season. And if you're in the middle of a pennant race and you need a designated hitter, who is better out there right now than the Nationals starting first baseman? He gets into his comfort zone. He doesn't have to worry about playing defense. He gives you 4 quality at bats per night. He's got a little bit of speed on the base pass. He's got to manufacture some runs. to me, I just look at Josh Bell, and for what the Nationals are trying to do right now, depending on which of the contending teams that he lands with, and I mean, you go any one of a number of different ways. Ship him across the league. Perhaps he fits in Houston. Perhaps he's a big fit in San Diego. I mean, you look at a Houston team. No, not the Mets. No. It's bad enough they're going to try to steal Soto, and I'm going to have to watch him terrorize us in the fashion that what's his name, Bryce Harper normally does. No. That's Man Ram. It's your boy, the MLB OG. That's debatable this week. Y'all come back now next time, and we'll still be right here giving it to you straight, no chaser. Deuces up.
MLBBro.com, covering black and brown major league.